So everybody, how everybody doing today? This is Corey with Thornton Productions. Right now I have on the show Mr. Robert Noell, aka Papu, a great friend, an awesome person, and he's gonna share your story about like what you want to talk about. You want to talk about like the carnival business? We got like a couple of them, everybody. He's done some amazing stuff all over the world, all over the country. Y'all been all over the country doing a lot of things. You traveled all over the world. So we would talk about the carnival business, or I want to reel them in with Sega because there's so many kids out there love video games. Which one you want to do?
Well, if your target is kids that love video games, then I don't know, maybe Sega's the thing. But
let's do the carnival. How y'all got started with the carnival business?
I think I've been in the amusement business all my life, so as I'm sitting here thinking about it, I think we really ought to start on how we got an amusement business.
There you go. So how did it go? How did
I get in the amusement business?
Yeah.
I got born.
Born.
Yeah, I got born.
Born into the music business.
Yeah, I was born in the amusement business.
Wow.
My great grandparents were vaudeville medicine show people.
Okay.
And then my grandparents were medicine show people. And they had two kids. So grandparents on my dad's side had two kids, my dad and his sister Bella Mae. And they wound up by the time they had a couple kids, they also were in the animal business, which my grandfather was an animal. I just referred to as animal kook. He was an animal kook from when he was a young boy, youngster. And just always had animals, and he wound up with a chimpanzee. Got a chimpanzee. Always wanted a chimpanzee, so we got a chimpanzee.
Wow.
And then we had more chimpanzees and had orangutans and gorillas, and just was in the amusement business, entertainment business there. My grandparents operated a show where they would play little, just crossroads, not even town, just a crossroad with their little store or something, or just out in the middle of a field. And they'd play all up and down the East Coast, and even played down in Cuba before the revolution, of course.
Wow.
And they would put posters up all around town, all around the area. There might not be a town, all around the area. Wanted athletic men to earn $5 a second to hold 85-pound chimp's shoulder to the floor.
$5 a second.
$5 a second. $20 a second to hold both shoulders to the floor.
Wow.
Or $1 a minute just to stay in the ring with them.
And that was a long time ago, so that money was worth a lot back then.
Yeah, it was worth a lot, but you didn't have to worry about that because they never paid any of that money out.
Yeah.
Not the whole chimp shoulder to the floor.
No, because I heard they like super strong. They're strong, very strong.
Yeah, strong and fast, and you don't have to worry about that. And so they put these posters up all around, and $5 a second to hold 85-pound chimp shoulder to the floor. Well, these little boys out there working on those farms are all thinking, man, I'm loading them 80-pound bales of hay on that wagon all day long.
Yeah.
85-pound chimp, I'll just pick him up, throw him to the floor, and get some easy money right there.
Dang.
$5 a second.
That's what they thought.
And so they had no shortage of volunteers. You had plenty of people who volunteer to come, wrestle a chimpanzee. And so then all their friends would all come to watch.
Okay.
And their friends would all pay $1 to watch. And part of the terms of that deal is that no show's guaranteed to last over 5 seconds. Whenever your friend says he's finished, whenever your friend says I want out, your friend starts calling for his mama, I'm done. The show's over.
Yeah.
And it'll be everybody out.
Yeah.
You got your $1 worth.
Man.
And a lot of shows didn't last 5 seconds.
Wow.
It really depended on just how tough the contestant was. The tougher the contestant is, the more of an attitude he has. He's going to go in there and beat up on this little defenseless monkey to them. Well, the shorter it's going to be.
Yeah.
You know, now you could go in, I could send my little granddaughter in, I could send my wife in, I can go in, any of us can go in, and if we're going to go in and just play around and roll around and have a good time,
Yeah.
then it can go on. You know, we'll stay in there for a while and we'll all have fun. But if you've got an attitude and you're going to go in there and try to beat up a little chimp, you're going to get a lesson in manners real fast, real quick. So anyway, that was my grandparents. And my parents, when they got married, you know, they had a couple kids right early on and got married. Well, my parents then separated away from there, and they got out of the animal business. And then my parents were still in the amusement business, still in the carnival business. And their first success was what we call a high striker, where you swing a big mallet and try to ring the bell.
Okay.
And my dad was a builder, so he built himself a high striker, and they had some success with that on the road. Not big success, but success.
That's good.
Came at the end of the season with a few dollars in their pocket, and enough to get through the winter and get back out next spring.
Wow.
And then at some point, got into the water race game business. You know, shooting.
Where they shoot the game?
Right, shooting water at a target, and you know, something going up the track, or
and went a little
balloon blowing up, or several different variations of water race games. And with that, then they start having some success.
Because that draws a lot of people when you go to carnivals today.
Yeah.
Those water games, everybody's racing, trying to get that thing to shoot up the pole.
That's right. That's right. They know somebody's going to win. You know,
Yeah.
That whole business is just selling toys. All we're doing is selling toys out there, and we just sell a lot of toys.
Wow.
Sell a lot of toys, and had some success with that.
Wow.
And
What would they do, like something like that? Like, you know, money back then, making money back then, working at a carnival.
right. Well, what's your question?
Like good money, making good money. They was making a lot of good money
I
back
would
then.
say, well, because of what good money is, you know, that's a relative question too. I've heard guys ask my dad that, and my dad gave an example at the end of the year one year, as they were loading up and fixing to make their last jump back home, back down to Clearwater. The guy came running up to him out there just as he's driving out the gate and says, "Hey," he said, "you're going down to Clearwater, aren't you?" And my dad said, "Yeah." And he said, "Well, I live in Palm Harbor. So I wonder if I could catch a ride with you."
Wow.
So
Where were they at the time?
it's been somewhere up in mid-Georgia.
Wow. Okay.
So anyway, my dad said, "Yeah, hop in. You can ride with me." I mean, what are you going to do? Tell the guy stay in Georgia? So he gets him right down. So my dad asked the guy, "Well, how'd you do this year? You have a good summer this year? Good season?" He said, "Oh, yeah, I had a really good season. I got a new flashlight, you know, and he had about $30 or something in his pocket, and you know, had a sandwich left over from breakfast or something. And that was about it.
Yeah.
But to him, that was a good season. He did well. Brand spanking new flashlight.
Yeah.
Life was good.
Yeah.
While another guy, you know, a promoter on a circus that really didn't have any equipment, but he's had what we call a suitcase operator, had a little briefcase he worked out of and a pencil. He had $100,000 bills rolled up in his shirt pocket.
Wow.
So he had a good season.
Yeah. Yeah.
So our seasons were somewhere between there.
Yeah. Gotcha.
A little closer to one than the other.
Yeah.
But you know, it was good. I mean, my parents obviously had some success out there, and
That's awesome.
so that's the environment that I grew up in. I grew up on a carnival lot in the game business, water race games primarily,
Okay.
and that's where I grew up.
Wow.
Now you do see some pictures of me rolling around with gorillas and chimpanzees and so forth, but that would be when we'd go back visiting. I didn't really grow up with them. I would be visiting.
Okay.
We'd go back and visit, and we'd play with the Topsy the gorilla, or you know, you'll see pictures of me. I have a Congo the chimp holding me when I was a baby, and you see me with chimps holding me when I was a little baby, and orangutans and so forth. But those are just visits back home.
Okay.
Not where I was raised. I was raised on a carnival lot.
Carnival lot. Wow.
In the game business.
And that taught you a lot doing that type of stuff, because you got to be on your A game at all times.
Yeah, the carnival business is very competitive, and competition is good. You know, your typical carnival is the carnival owner has some rides typically.
Mm-hmm.
Has the generators, the infrastructure, the generators, and then a lot of independent folks will book in with them.
Okay.
Typically, maybe all the games are booked in. Food. Carnival owner might have the popcorn and candy apples and that sort of stuff, but there'll be food booked in, and be a few rides booked in, and back end shows booked in. So, but the games, the games, they would typically be all independent guys like us.
Okay.
We were the independent operator on there, booked in with the Carnival, and we had water race games. Well, somebody else has got a ball game, and somebody else has got a shooting gallery, and somebody else has a duck pond, and whatever. It's endless, a whole list of them. And we're all after that same dollar.
Yeah.
There's just so many people coming through that gate, and we're all after that same dollar, and it's very competitive. So it's good training, I think. I think it's good. It's
Dealing with a lot of
good
people.
background.
What was one of the biggest fairs you worked at? And how many people, just take a guesstimate of how many people showed up?
Attended. Well, some of the biggest fairs around, as you're somewhat aware, my grandson and I just flew up last month to the Minnesota State Fair in St. Paul, Minnesota. In my opinion, it's one of the best, if not the best fair in the country.
Wow.
And their attendance is somewhere close to 3 million, something.
3 million people come through the fair?
Yeah, in about I think it's a 14-day fair.
Wow.
And we went up just to have a look around. It's been a long time since I've been to it. I used to play it, back in the early 70s. And I've been eager. I've been wanting to go up there for a long time, and just this year I asked Brady, let's go. And he said, okay, let's go. So Brady and I flew up and went to the fair. State Fair of Texas gets about 3 million people.
Wow.
New York State Fair, I'm not sure what their attendance is, but it's a really good fair. The Erie County Fair in Hamburg, New York is a really good fair. These are fairs that I've played that I'm somewhat familiar with. There's other ones, but those I'm familiar with.
Wow.
So
it's a lot of work and doing that stuff, but you have fun. It pays off.
it's work.
Yeah.
It's definitely work. I mean, it's not. It's a business. It's not. It's not fun and games. It's a business.
Yeah.
And you live out there on the road, and like when we were in St. Paul last month with Brady, I told Brady, I said, I played this fair about 5 times here, but I never really got off of that lot. I never was around to see anything else. I mean,
Yeah.
So we played those big fairs, but we never really got off the fairgrounds.
You had to go see other stuff.
Might go to the grocery store or go to the laundromat or something, but otherwise you're right there. As far as sightseeing and touring the area, no, I did more sightseeing and touring the area last month than I did when I was playing the fair. You playing the fair, you're there.
Yeah.
You're opening early and closing late. In Minnesota, we probably open 9 o'clock in the morning and probably close 1 o'clock in the morning, and in between there, take care of a few things that need to be done so you're ready tomorrow morning and go sleep real fast and come back.
Do it again.
Yeah.
Wow. So if somebody wanted to get into that business, is watching right now, what would you suggest? How would you suggest them if they wanted to, be a vendor or, join a carnival business?
I would say the first thing you'd do is go out and get a job out there with them and work with them. Get a job. I mean, there's plenty of jobs.
Right.
I would go out and get a job and start learning how it works.
Exactly.
Learning what's going on.
Yeah.
And then save your money.
Yeah.
Save your money and get yourself in a position to frame up some little operation of your own, whatever it is, whether it's a cotton candy stand or some kind of little game or.
Because I remember when you took me to Orlando to the big show. What is it called? The big show they have every year?
Yeah, it's the International Association of Amusement Parks and Attractions annual trade show.
And when I was looking at some of those prices for some of those rides or different exhibits, those things cost a lot of money.
That's right.
So you got to go to the circuit. I mean, you got to go to the carnival, work it, understand it, put some money up, and just do it for a while, get to learn everything you need to know, and then you can go and make a purchase, because those things are not cheap. They were pretty expensive for different things that you want.
That's right. Well, there's nothing cheap these days, and a big ride certainly isn't cheap. You can easily spend $1 million or more.
$1 million.
Big rides.
And
for some games, you can spend $250,000 pretty quick for some games. Like a new water race game these days, I'm not really sure what they're trading for, but they're up there.
Wow.
A couple $100,000, I'm sure.
Wow. So that water game that everybody go to at the carnival, and everybody, they line up like 8 people, 16, 8 on one side, 8 on the other side, and we taking that little gun, shooting that water in that little target, trying to be the first one to get to the top, something like that, like $200,000, $250,000 for that.
Could very well be.
Yeah. So basically, nothing really comes cheap. You got to put in a lot of work. You got to work hard to buy the things that you like. And, everybody made the sacrifice, and that's what you got to do. People got to do that. So, anything's possible. You did it. Y'all survived it.
Yeah, well, it's work. I mean, my parents did it, so I'll give my parents credit. But, I was, I never, I see people missing days of work and not showing up or being late. I was probably 25 or 30 years old before I knew you could be late. You can't be late.
No, you can't. No.
You can't be late if it's a 9 o'clock call in the morning and you've got to be open at 9 o'clock. You got to be out there at 9:30. You got to be out there at 8:30.
Yeah.
Get that awning open and get everything going, ready to go. You can't be late. I never knew you could even be late.
Yeah. I learned that too over the years.
I can honestly say we were never late. I was never late. I didn't know you could be late.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of people still just don't take it seriously.
Yeah, and those people are, I don't know how to say it, but they don't do as well as the people that do take it serious.
Yeah, you gotta be on time for everything that you do, no matter what job you have. Even when we do business lunches, when we get together and sit around a table, lunch starts at 11:45. I make sure I'm there at 11:30.
Right.
We got to get there early because everybody's time is very valuable. Time is money, money is time, and to extend that invitation to be able to sit down and hold conversations and learn different things. The least courtesy people can have is just to be there on time. Because a lot of times I do business with people and they show up late, and sometimes it makes me aggravated. But I see why they don't make it to the next level, because they don't take the time seriously. That's a must. My mom made sure I got to school every day, and we strive to try to get there on time. We wasn't the brightest in school. We had struggles in school with like academics and all that stuff, but we made sure we tried to get there every day and try to get there on time. And that helped me be in the field that I'm in now, because you can't go start a show and there's students packed in the auditorium waiting for you and you're late, or it's time for you to set up at the carnival, and we set up in 2 hours, but you got all this traffic coming through here. You got to be set up, ready to go, so everybody ready to do what they got to do to make that organization work, that operation. So that being on time thing is awesome.
Yeah, well, again, it's a very competitive, out there in the Carnival Midway, it's a very competitive business.
Right.
We're all after that same dollar. And if you're not there ready to get it in the morning, the next guy is.
Yeah.
And that's a dollar that you're not going to get.
Yeah.
That's the way it works out here in the real world.
Yes.
It's competitive. I don't care what you're doing. It's a competitive world that we live in.
Yep.
And you better be doing better than the next person.
Yes.
One of the things that we wanted to see up there in Minnesota, that I wanted to see up in Minnesota at the State Fair when I went up a month ago, is I had heard about an operation up there selling chocolate chip cookies.
Oh yeah.
Right? And I just wanted to see it.
Yeah.
And and when we got there and took a look at it, Brady and I, we ate our fair share of chocolate chip cookies. Now, mind you, they take care of business. They are taking care of business selling chocolate chip cookies. There was nothing special about these chocolate chip cookies. They were just a chocolate chip cookie. There's nothing really special about them at all. The only thing special about them is they're selling, I believe, over $2 million worth of cookies during that 14-day fair.
You hear that, y'all? Say that again. I don't think they heard you. How much?
I think over $2 million worth of.
$2 million over chocolate chip.
14 days. Yeah.
14 days at the fair, just selling cookies.
Right.
Huh.
But they do a good job. They do a really good job. And you know, so you gotta take care of business.
Yeah. So it's like just find something you like to do. What's that thing you always tell you know, your grandkids or, you know, people that you run across? Just find that one thing that you like to do and do it the best of your abilities.
Yeah, if you can find one thing you like to do it the best of your abilities, and people will pay you to do it, then you never have to work a day in your life.
Ooh, say that again. I don't think they heard you.
Because
say that one more time.
Because if you're doing something you like to do, well, we're not going to call that work.
Yeah. Because you like to do it.
If you find something you like to do, and people will pay you to do it, you know, you do a good enough job that people will pay you to do it, then you never have to work a day in your life. Doing what you like to do.
That's so good.
And there are plenty of examples around. We can see that. We can see examples of that all around.
Yep.
You know, I see some of these guys with little boats out here, up a Clearwater Beach or any of these beaches, and they like to do it. They do a good job of it. People pay them to go out and go fishing every day, and they never really have to work a day in their life, really.
Yeah. All they do is take people out to go fishing. They do it so well. They study those maps and where all the fish are. They strive for quality and excellence, making sure their customers are taken care of when they take them out. And word travels, because when those people went out and had a great time, they're going to go tell somebody else, hey, look, Captain such and such took us out. They took us exactly where the fish at. They made sure we had drinks, a little food or whatever, and everything was nice. And they go tell all their friends, and then those friends book with that guy, and it just keeps going. Striving for quality and excellence.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, you got to take care of business.
Yep.